Hello and welcome aboard. I'm Steve Shaw. I used to be a boating safety officer with the U.S. Coast Guard, and we're going to go over a couple of requirements for boats and hopefully educate everybody a little bit. So first thing everybody needs when they get on board the boat is a life preserver. It's not a requirement that you wear the life preserver, but it's a good idea because who knows when you're going to fall in the water, and then once you're in the water it's a little hard to put this on. So they come in some different types. There's a type 1 life preserver. That's what you'll find on your commercial vessels like ferries, cruise ships. They're the biggest, bulkiest life preserver, and they're designed to upright an unconscious person in the water. Type 2 life preserver is the standard orange life preserver. It's Coast Guard certified as a life preserver, but again, it's not the most comfortable thing to wear. But it will upright you in the water and keep you afloat. Life preservers do come in different sizes, so it depends on your body weight. And when you're shopping for a life preserver, make sure you read the label and it'll tell you exactly who it's supposed to fit. So we talked about the type 1 on the cruise ships, ferries. Type 2 I just showed you. I'm wearing a type 3. The type 3 is designed to be a little bit more comfortable, more wearable. So if you're canoeing, kayaking, sailing, working around the water or whatever, a type 3 is going to be probably about the most comfortable one you can have. So this is a type 4 life preserver. It's also known as a seat cushion type life preserver. It's designed to be thrown to somebody in the water. Mine, I tied a rope onto it so I can hopefully retrieve somebody. If I throw it to them, I can pull them back to the boat, so that might make it a little bit safer. One thing with the type 4 life preserver is you never want to wear this on your back. So if you were to wear this on your back, the life preserver is going to float, your head is going to be in the water, and if it's around your arms, it's almost impossible to get it off you in the water. So you never ever want to wear this in the water. It's designed to be grabbed like that and worn on your chest, and then you can paddle or help get yourself to safety. Another type 4 is also a ring buoy. Ring buoy you have on the dock right here. So again, something designed to throw to somebody in the water, and part of a federal requirement. Now, boats under 16 feet, federal requirements say they only need a type 4 preserver for each person on board. But I'd say it's a better idea to get some wearable ones and wear them. Okay, another type of life preserver is a type 5. It's a wearable type life preserver approved by the Coast Guard. Anytime you're buying any kind of a life preserver, you want to look at the label and make sure it says U.S. Coast Guard approved. And then you'll know you'll be in good business if you get stopped by the Marine Police or the Coast Guard. You've got the right equipment. So type 5 is a wearable type device. This is one that I had when I was in the service. I was working on lighthouses in the wintertime, so we wanted something warm and something also a life preserver in case you did fall in. So this is a type 5. Another type 5 would be a coat type life preserver. It looks more like a winter coat. Another requirement would be a fire extinguisher if you have a gasoline burning engine inboard, such as this boat. You're required to carry a fire extinguisher. Even if you have an outboard, I'd say it's a great idea to have a fire extinguisher on board any boat. So again, if you're purchasing a fire extinguisher for your boat, you want to read the label and make sure it says U.S. Coast Guard approved, and it also also tells you what type of fire it's for. So, a gasoline boat, something that puts out a gasoline type of fire, a oil type fire. So this is a dry chemical extinguisher. It's a great idea to check your gauge once in a while, make sure your arrow's in the green zone. Some fire extinguishers have a little button. If they don't have a gauge, they have a little button you push. Push the button and the button's supposed to pop back out, showing you that it's still charged. Okay, another federal requirement would be flares or visual distress signals for boats. These are for boats that are not back in the bay, but if you're going offshore, if you're going out into the ocean, then you're going to be needing some distress signals. So what I carry on my boat would be a daytime flag. I have nighttime flares, and I have a flare pistol too. So I'd be a little more than you need. But, there are different types of devices out there that you can use. Another thing we want to think about is if we're operating the vessel or boat at night. Lights are required for the boat, so navigation lights are required from sunset until sunrise. Navigation lights consist of bow light and stern light. Stern light also acts as the anchor light. So, say I was out in the bay anchored somewhere, middle of the night, then I'd have to display one white anchor light, which is visible all the way around the boat, 360 degrees. If we're actually running the boat at night, then we need to have our running lights on. That would consist of our red and green bow light and our stern light, which is also acts as the anchor light at night if you're anchored. So another requirement for boats would be a sound producing device, such as a horn or a whistle. I keep mine on my life preserver, so if I fall overboard, I've got a way to signal for help. Another thing boats are required to have would be a bell. If you're out in the fog, you're supposed to have some way to produce a ringing device like a bell or a pot. Would be acceptable. If you tap a pot, it gives a ringing sound. Anything that will produce a ringing sound is acceptable for that. Another requirement for boats with motors would be a numbering requirement or registered. So the boat has to be registered with your state. The state issues you numbers for the boat, hull number, and that goes on the bow of the vessel. And there's proper spacing. The first two letters will tell you the state that the boat is registered from, such as this boat here is New Jersey, NJ. And then we have a space equal to a letter, and then the body of the number, and then another space, and then the end number. So that spacing is very important. We have some other examples. People put these on themselves sometimes, and they do a great job, and some people don't allow for spacing. If you don't have any spacing, that is another reason for the Marine Police or the Coast Guard to pull you over, because technically that is a violation if you don't have the proper spacing in there. So believe it or not, anchors aren't part of your federal requirements. But why would you have a boat without an anchor? It's kind of, if you break down, this will stop you from drifting away, pushing you out to sea, or whatever. So a couple things you want to remember about anchoring: you want to tie the rope onto the boat before you throw the anchor in, or else you're going to be buying a new anchor and a new anchor line. So make sure the anchor is tied to the boat. You always want to tie it to the bow of the vessel, the front of the boat, because that'll keep the boat into the wind. So the wind is where the waves are going to be coming from, and that's the way you want the boat to ride. So rule of thumb is you want 3 times the amount of rope length for the amount of water that you're in. So say you're in 10 foot of water, we'd like to have 30 foot of rope out. That would give the anchor plenty of chance to be able to dig into the bottom and to hold you tight. If it's shorter, then the anchor is going to be not able to drag as well, or could pull loose. Other thing we have on the anchor is anchor chain. The anchor chain actually helps to set the anchor when you throw it in the water. It'll drag along the bay, and the anchor chain helps hold everything down and help it to grab into the bottom. And I work on boats as a living, so I do get a couple calls during the season. Gee, Steve, I'm down in the boat and I put the key in and the engine cranks, but it's not starting. What could be the problem? Well, the first thing I tell them is check your cutoff switch, make sure that's installed. So as long as the cutoff switch is installed, then the engine should be able to crank. The other thing that might prevent it from cranking is if the engine's in gear. So if the engine's in gear, it's not even, nothing's gonna happen. So the engine has to be in neutral to start, and the safety switch has to be installed. Down all the way down to Florida and up toward Maine. So it's an inland passageway to keep boats from going out in the ocean. And there's only a couple places you do have to transit out in the ocean if you are heading south. So the red buoy is going to tell us we're in the channel if we're heading north. And each buoy has a mark number on it, and that's going to correspond to the chart. So if you have a chart with you, it'll tell you what the buoy is and where you're located, so that can help you with your navigation. The green marker, I don't have one here to show you right at the moment, but the green markers are going to be on the ocean side of the channel, the eastern side of the channel, as we're heading north. If we turn around to head south, which I'll do, then everything's going to flip. The reds are going to be on the right side of the boat as we come around here. So now we're heading south in the Intracoastal Waterway. The red buoys are going to be on our right side, which is known as the starboard, and the green buoys are going to be on our port side as we're heading south. Okay, as you can see, we just passed the green buoy. Well, that's what they call a dayboard, a fixed piling, but it's still an aid-to-get navigation. So we're still heading south. We're behind Avalon here, and we're heading towards Stillwater. In the distance, the water tower helps you navigate where you are. And a little windy today out here. The main channel, the Intracoastal Waterway, into one of the back channels, and the back channels, some of them will be marked, sometimes they're not marked, so you always want to proceed slowly if you don't know the water's depth. So you can always keep an eye on your depth finder. Mine has an alarm I've got set at 4 foot, so hopefully it gives me a little bit of a heads up warning that I'm coming up on a shallow area and I can react. So the rule, red to the right returning, you've probably heard before. That talks about the different markers as we're heading back towards land from the main channel. We're going to have the green buoys on our left and reds on the right. So up ahead you'll see a green square, and past that you'll see a red triangle. So as we proceed back this back creek, we're looking at the depth finder, keep an eye on that, keep an eye on our channels, making sure there's no other boat traffic in the area. Hey, I don't know if you can see, you might be able to pan back with the camera a little bit. You can see on this side of the boat, the water is moving the most. And on the other side of the water, it's more calm and doesn't seem to be moving as fast. So that tells me that the deeper side of the channel is going to be where the water is moving. So if you can learn to read the water a little bit, it'll tell you how the channel is getting cut through these back creeks. So right now we're in about 8 foot of water, which is nice. And we're heading for a red buoy, so reds are going to be on the right side. Yeah, okay. I'm checking, make sure you guys are paying attention. And we can proceed on until we see the next marker. So we want to take our dock lines and set them on the boat. So the loop goes through the cleat and over the 2 ears. That's one way to tie it, or if it's just a line they call with a bitter end, that's the end that doesn't have any loop on it or anything. Then it should go around over once, and then this part gets twisted to lock it in place. Up into the dock. I'm pretty close to the dock actually, right by the front, right by the piling here. So whenever you're approaching the dock, you want to do so at a very slow speed. Pay attention to what the wind and the tide are going to do to you. Right here, I don't have too much of either affecting me. You can see the boat's not moving anywhere too quickly. Bringing in the boat to the dock very slowly, as you can see. Boats don't have any brakes, so you have to use reverse for the brake to stop the boat. And the line's going to go over to the dock. So again, this dock has some different lines on it, but if we were tying to the dock here, it would go over, and then it gets flipped over, so that locks it in place. So when you dock, you always want to remember to use fenders. That protects the boat from getting scratched or scuffed. And again, you're going to add more lines as required. So stern lines, bow lines, lines that go from forward to the back of the boat, that's called a spring line. They're also very helpful, so when you're tying up your boat. Another very important knot to tie, if you only learn one knot, it's probably the most important knot to learn. It's called the bowline. The way to tie the bowline is you want to make a loop of rope, and then they say this part here, the bitter end, they call that the rabbit. The rabbit comes out of the hole, around the tree, and then back in the hole. And then if you tighten that all up, that turns into a bowline. So the bowline's a real important knot. It's not going to come loose. And once it's got a lot of tension on it, it's still easy to get it free or loose by flicking this particular line down, and the whole knot will come apart. So that's one way to tie the bowline. Another way I've learned to tie the bowline, see, we're going to put it around this piling. Okay, this is the knot you tied when you're a little kid and you say, "Look, Mom, magic knot disappears." So you tie yourself one of those and you put the bitter end through the part that's going to disappear, and if you pull it, it all flips over into your bowline. So that's another way to tie the bowline. I have a quicker way. There is one more bowline that I did learn called the flying bowline. Kind of impressive to see. So you tie this one with your palms up, hold on to the bitter end. You don't want to let that go. My left hand is going to come in, so I'm making a loop. My right hand is going to flick this down and over, right loop through the left loop, and that turns into a tugboat bowline. So that's the slow way to tie it. And then when you get good at it, then it turns into this. You can impress your friends and neighbors by tying one of those, tying it to your boat so you're ready to go. Another knot we can tie if we're tying to a piling or a round device would be a clove hitch. So round twice, and the bitter end kind of goes through. So that's another knot you can tie. Another knot they call a stopper knot. Say you're tying something and you don't want it to go through a pulley or whatever. They call this a figure 8 knot. Looks like a figure 8. So that one is what they call a stopper knot. So if you have a pulley or something that you're going to run the line through, it'll get to the stopper knot and stop. To operate a vessel in New Jersey, you do need to take a boating safety course, and then they'll issue you a boating safety certificate, and that's required to be carried just like your driver's license when you're operating the vessel. So there's always more information, things to learn out there. I learn stuff all the time, even at my age, so there's always plenty to learn out there about boats and boating safety. The more you learn, the better off you're going to be. So everything comes into play. So learning to tie knots, being able to check the weather, knowing the tide, all this, knowing the wind direction, how that affects your boat, all that comes into play. So I'm going to leave some more brochures with the Avalon Library, so you could contact them and they'll figure out how to get them to you, either one way or another. When you do take your boating safety course, they do issue you a book too that has a lot of great information talking about boating safety. And the way to get in contact with them would be contact your local Coast Guard flotilla, or www.cgaux.org. If I can be of any help, please don't hesitate to contact me through the library, and I'd be happy to try to point you in the right direction, or if I don't know the answer, then I'll try to point you to the person that could give you the right answer. Thanks so much for your time, and happy boating. Bye now.